Hey, what's going on, guys? So my buddy reached out and we're creating this banner for him to print out and use at venues as he's playing. Part of his design was this array of crosses in the background. He was describing more of like a diamond plate that would be subdued and kind of in the background, more similar to this Sandman logo. So if you like zoom in, you can see it says Sandman, but from further away, it's a lot more difficult to distinguish that. So he wants something similar with this cross pattern. So I went about doing this probably not the smartest way. So we'll open a new file. We're gonna do 2000 by 2000 here, transparent background, cool. So what I was doing, we'll use a triangle for this purpose. So I created my cross. In this case, we'll use a triangle. And there's a trick you can do to try and speed this up while maintaining your distance and all the other stuff. Some people, they would take it, they would duplicate it, they would move it, and they'd try and get it perfect. And they would keep trying to do that over and over again, and it would take forever. So we don't do that. So let's delete those. We have this. Control-Alt-T. What that will do is that will create a copy, which you're like, okay, Brandon, well, we just did that a second ago. But in this instance, you've put it there, but because you used Control-Alt-T, you can now do Control-Shift-Alt-T. It will create that duplicate, but as you can see, it'll maintain that offset that you've created when you move the other one. And the more you duplicate it, the more it keeps staying down that pattern. You can then take them all, Control-E, will merge them all together. Now you can do the same trick. So Control-Alt-T, you can move them up. You like that distance, for instance. Enter Control-Alt-Shift-T, and it carries on. So that's how I made the crosses in this original part. But there is a smarter way. So we'll delete those. Oh, we can't delete them all without having some layer, so let's just move that to the bottom. Select all those, delete. What we're going to do in this case, well, let's go ahead and just create the crosses themselves. So we'll take this, we'll make a cross like so. Control-J to duplicate that, Control-T to transform. We'll rotate holding Shift to make sure we get a perfect 90 degree. We'll put it in a general location. If you hold Alt, if you already have it centered where you want, and you hold Alt when you go to scale, you'll scale to the center. I don't like that. So we've duplicated, so now we can rotate holding Shift to make sure we get that even 90 degrees. We'll move it up to about where we think the cross should be. In my case, if you hold Shift, it's only shrinking the one side. It does not do it uniformly. So in this case, we can hold Shift and Alt and just squeeze the sides in so that we maintain that same width of board, if you will, for the cross. Hit Enter. There we go. That's a good looking cross. We'll take both of those, Control-E to merge, Control-T. We're going to shrink it down a bit. We want it centered, just for the moment. So in this, for this trick to work, we have our rulers out. If you don't see your rulers, hit Control-R. That will bring it out. So we know that this is a 2000 by 2000 pixel square. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut it into quarters. So if it's 2000, we know that 500 pixels is going to be a quarter of it. So you can see we'll drag this out. If you hold Shift, it will help you. You're going to go to 500. And you're going to go to 1000 and 1500. You're going to do the same thing from the top. So drag it out. 1500. Then 1000. And then 500. Now, there's a reason we're doing this. It seems stupid right now, but I promise it'll make sense in a moment. So again, we're going to Control T to transform. We're just going to shrink this down a bit. You kind of want it about the same 500 pixels. That's looking good. Now we're going to put it here. If we hold, nope. So it is not wanting to snap to our guide. So if we go in, View, Snap to Guides. So now if we Control T again, it snaps to that line, it will snap to that one. And now we know that it's perfectly on that cross at 500 pixels. For this one, we're going to rotate it. 30 degrees looks good. Hit enter. And in this case, you can do a normal duplicate. So Control J, Control T. You're going to move it to the other corner. Control J. We'll just do it a couple times. Oops, that's too many. Control T to move it. Pop it over here. And the next one, Control T. Pop it over here. So now we have them perfectly aligned, 500 pixels in, centered on that cross. Let's double check our stuff. Yep, it's looking good. So here's where this trick comes into play. We can take them all, Control G will group them. What we're going to do is we're going to Control J to duplicate and Control E to merge them. We'll take this merge, let's hide this for now so you can see what happens. We take this merge, go to Filter, Other, Offset. So it's already at 500, which works perfect for me. What this is going to do is it's going to offset the image by 500 pixels. Pretty simple. Horizontal and vertical. So we hit OK. When we unhide this, you'll see it looks like a standard pattern. But the best part about this is it is tileable. So this corner will match up with this corner, which will match up with this corner and this corner whenever you put them next to each other. So if you took that square and put it right next to each other, they would match up perfectly. And this is going to be extremely helpful for us. So now what we're going to do, Edit, Define Pattern. We'll call it cross_tile. I've already created it once, but I'm going to create it again just to show you. So now, let's hide those two things. We'll take this. Actually, let's add a gradient. We'll do a gradient here. Take this out. I'm going to select metal. Let's give it an angle. Doesn't really matter. Something like that. Okay. And if you go to select your gradient and you don't find metals in there, go to Window, Gradients. Open this up. You can see Legacy Gradients is in here. If you don't see Legacy Gradients, hit the lines up top. Click Legacy Gradients, and that will put it in. And then you will have your Legacy Gradients. And inside of that, you'll see one that says Metals. And that's where I got this one. So now that we have that, above that, we're going to create a pattern. It selected the leaves, but if we open this up, you can see there's two in here. Here's one. This is the cool part about having it set up as a pattern. Now we can change the scale to, let's 10. It stays perfectly in line, the exact way that you wanted it, or if you want even less, you crank it up. Now you've only got that. But since we're going for a diamond plate look, we can go down to 10? Sure, we'll just call it 10. Let's create another empty layer, put it below here, right click on our pattern fill, we're going to merge down. So now we have our transparent layer with our pattern placed on it where we want it. Now if we double click the side here, you can go into your bevel options. Emboss is always good. Zoom in a bit so we can see. Emboss. This will depend on how big you made your tileable texture or your pattern. So play with these settings, depth and size, to get something that looks good to you. I'm going to go with 50, and you know what, 5 looks good to me. Then go over here to your gradient overlay. Select that. This is where you can enter in that same metal gradient at the same angle if you'd like. Hit OK. As we zoom out, you can see it looks like a diamond plate reflective metal texture with your design from your pattern. And that'll just help you be able to go through. So like here, if I create that new pattern overlay that I want, pattern, we'll select the one that I want, scale it to where I think it should be. We're gonna go, let's see what 20 looks like. Ooh, 20 might be too small for that. 30's looking good. We'll just go with 30. Hit OK. Same thing as before, I can create my empty layer, right click, merge down. Now I have my layer. I can do the same thing as before. Double click, bevel, zoom in so I can see what I'm working with. Gradient overlay. This will allow me to play with my depth and size so I can get a better idea of how I like it. Maybe something like that. Open this back up. Obviously it doesn't look good now, but just for demonstration purposes, to show you how you could use this. So if we take that, let's go find a good spot to drop this. Yeah, about right there. Where are our previous crosses here? Oh, there we go. So we get rid of that. And with that, you can do stuff like take your hex code from your bottom color layer. We'll copy that. Let's go back into our color overlay. Drop in that hex code. Hit OK. And now we have matching color for our diamond plate style crosses in a pattern array. And we were able to make it in no time, only because we created that pattern separately. And it would be easy to go through and create another one. So any design you have, take those techniques, see what kind of cool stuff you can do, create those pattern arrays. That's a tileable texture, which makes it able to fit on any dimensions. So in this case, I have a very tall and not very wide banner that I'm going to be putting it on, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it was super long and short, or if it was a perfect square, or if it was diagonal. It will always fit because you made the pattern tileable with that offset. So I hope this helps one of you. Hope you can create something cool with it. If this was helpful, give me a like. Maybe think of subscribing. Feel free to hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought of it. If you have another way of doing this that you think is better, let me know. Because I'm always learning too. Until then, thanks for watching. Have a good one.